What would you do if I sang out of tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me? Lend me your ears and I'll sing you a song. I will try not to sing out of key. Yeah. Oh, baby.
What's up dudes, 8-Bit Andy back again with another Flashback Friday, and today, as you may have already guessed, is the turn of Super Star Wars on the Super Nintendo, which was a game released by LucasArts in 1992. This is more than just a kind of movie tie-in game. They really capture the spirit and brilliance of the films of this game. And yeah, it's a platform game that takes place initially in the Dune Sea of Tatooine, and Luke's running along, blasting everything in his path. He's obviously having a bad day, and I don't know if his Uncle Owen's pissed him off, but...
I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
You can waste time with your friends when your chores are done. Now, come on, get to it.
Yeah, you navigate this level, and as with all the levels in this game, it just perfectly captures the movie. Yeah, the boss at the end of it, the first level, there's always bosses in this game, some of them are quite tricky. The boss at the end of the first level is the Sarlacc pit monster, which is the thing from Return of the Jedi, from the third film, you know, the thing that digests you over sort of thousands of years. Yeah, in the game you just blast the fuck out of it and move on to the next level. And the next level is like a Super Nintendo Mode 7 style deal, where you're flying around with the T-16 shooting down Jawas, who apparently have pissed Luke off in the game. And maybe it was left off previous, I don't know.
Hey, what are you trying to push on us?
And also shooting Womp Rats, which will come in handy later.
But it's not impossible. I used to bullseye Womp Rats in my T-16 back home. They're not much bigger than 2 meters.
So next up is the Sandcrawler, and the Sandcrawler is one of the big difficulty spikes in this game. I mean, we're not talking sort of Zelda 2 Death Mountain difficulty spike, but it is a difficulty spike, and yeah, you're going to die a lot of times playing this level. And a lot of people get stuck here and never go back to the game, which is a shame, because after this level the game does really open up. So climbing up the side of the Sandcrawler itself is a bit of a pain in the arse, and yeah, if you fall off you don't die, but you've got to climb back to the top, and you probably will fall off a few times. It's inside where the problems begin, because falling into gaps kills you instantly, and the boss at the end of the level will knock you off pretty easily. The other thing is the jump mechanic. Jumping between platforms in Super Star Wars is a bit awkward, and trying to stop Luke from doing a somersault, which brings him up short of some jumps, can be slightly sort of fiddly on the controller. So yeah, it'll just take a bit of practice to get through this level, but it's worth persevering with, and because afterwards, as I say, the game does really open up. So the following level sees you taking on Sand People, which is a great enemy, they make great sound. Yeah, at the end of the level you will find Obi-Wan Kenobi, who, yeah, proving Uncle Owen a liar, by the way.
He died about the same time as your father.
You knew my father?
I told you to forget it.
And yeah, Obi-Wan will furnish you with your first lightsaber.
An elegant weapon for a more civilized age.
Yeah, I remember being little and getting to the lightsaber and it being, you know, so exciting. The only problem being the practical use of the lightsaber in the game isn't actually, yeah, it's not so good. You'll end up going back to the blaster fairly quickly.
Pokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid.
Which is kind of a shame, but yeah, there we go. So next up is Mos Eisley, and yeah, you're taking on stormtroopers in this game, in this level. And yeah, there's no time for any of that sort of Jedi mind trick bollocks.
You don't need to see his identification.
It's just, yeah, you just blast him and take him on. and eventually you'll reach the cantina, which is obviously a hugely famous Star Wars setting, and they do it brilliantly. You get to firstly get to control Chewie, which is just great. He sort of lets out Chewbacca noises, and he's got a bigger life bar. Yeah, and it's brilliant. It's brilliant fun using it. Yeah, the only thing about the cantina is it's miles and miles and miles long. You know, as was always the way in these sort of early 90s platformers that were trying to sort of recreate sets from movies. Yeah, it just goes on and on and on. But yeah, there's no Greedo in there either, which is a shame. And yeah, there's no Lynch flying about either. But it's still a really cool level. Somewhat let down by the boss at the end of it, who is a massive pain in the arse. And to this day, whenever I beat him, I don't know how I beat him. I just sort of fluke it. It always costs me a load of lives. I really don't know the best technique for killing him, because he's got like a telescopic neck and he just slaughters you. But yeah, so I suppose it's another one of those difficulty spikes within the game. Again, one that's worth getting over, because after you flukily beat the boss, you will end up in the Death Star. And now you get to choose either Luke, Chewie or Han Solo. Disappointingly, as cool as you might think it would be to be Han Solo, he's kind of a wimp in the game. So yeah, you're best off choosing Chewbacca, mainly because of his life bar, but also because he's just fighting to controls. And yeah, the stuff he shouts out and in his Chewbacca voice is cool. So yeah, there's a couple of sort of mid-level boss fights in the Death Star, and a couple of sort of instant death crushing mechanisms, kind of like that like garbage compactor thing, only a lot quicker. And yeah, it's a cool level, and you really feel like you're within a Star Wars movie playing it. So the final level of the game is pretty awesome. It is like another 3D Mode 7 style level, but this time you are on the surface of the Death Star, flying around, shooting down TIE fighters, and finally flying along and shooting the torpedoes into the Death Star with your Womp Rap shooting practice and destroying it. And once again, yeah, it just captures the feel of the movie and the end of the movie very, very well. It's it doesn't play that well. It's the Snes trying to do 3D, but it's still really cool and very enjoyable to finish to this day. So yeah, that concludes the game really. And you know, if you haven't played this game, you have to pick it up, especially if you're a Star Wars fan, because it's yeah, Star Wars created in 16-bit, and it's fantastically well done. So that's been Flashback Friday, Super Star Wars Edition. Thank you so much for watching. Coming up on the channel, I have got a pickups video very, very soon. And yeah, there's a couple of really cracking pickups in there. So yeah, subscribe if you haven't already to see that. And yeah, I shall see you in the next one. Thanks a lot. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.